How did I get into art? Well, I never really got into art. I was just sort of born into it. I painted my first painting when I think it was before I was even one. I won my first art contest in 1987 at the age of 2.5. Yeah, I won my first art contest then. It was something, I guess, that was genetic. My grandma was an artist. My great-grandma was an artist. It skipped a generation because my mom doesn't know how to draw well, but I'm trying to teach her, but she tells me she doesn't have the time to learn to do art. But you only have one chance in life to do things, so try and learn things. Do things. Have fun, you know. Expand your mind when it comes to the art world. Yes. Oh, another question I'm answering. How did you get into cars? Well, I didn't... That was another genetic thing. My uncle owns a 1970 Dodge Super Bee. My other uncle was a car collector before his death. He had a very horrific death. Well, I never got to own a car, actually, until just recently, to tell you the truth. I didn't get my first car until I was 29. Why? Well, I just couldn't afford it. And when I was working on the ranch as a ranch hand, I actually had that extra money to do things. And that's when I started building up my cars and stuff like that. Do I regret it? Just a little bit, but not much. I wish I saved a little more money aside for other things, such as, well, land and well drilling and, well, you know, the things that we need to do to get water and things like that. Yeah, I wish I did have some money saved aside for land. To be more self-reliant and not stuck paying a mortgage somewhere and lining someone else's wallet with cabbage. It's the worst thing a young person could do is just sit here and pay someone else's mortgage, because by the time they're 70 and 80, they're still paying someone else's mortgage, and they never get to have that sense of relief when they're older. They don't have to worry too much. The only thing they have to pay once a year is property tax, and that's it. And elderly get discounts on certain things too, especially if they're disabled. So, yeah. Okay. Another question. Are those all your animals? Well, some of them are. Some of them are my mom's. And I used to take care of them a lot. Why don't I take care of them now? That's a very long story I'll save aside for a private conversation, because I can't talk about that on here. Let's just say someone that lived there, we don't see eye to eye. We don't get along at all. It's not my mom. It's not the neighbors. It's one person and one person only. That, you know, it's the turd in the punch bowl, basically. It's the party spoiler. So, yeah. How many cars do I own? Okay, I'll tell you that question and I'll answer it as I have 4 cars. My first car I ever owned was a 1922 Ford Model TT. When I found her, she was rescued. She was rescued for me. I pulled her out of a shooting range because I thought it was disrespectful to shoot up a car that old. And I brought her back to life. She was nothing but a shell and a chassis. I found every part to restore her, and she has a new chance and lease in life. She's no longer headed for a scrap pile or left in the field as lawn art. No, she's ready to be restored. My second car I owned was a 1941 Ford, not Ford, it was a Chevy 1.5 ton. I missed that car so much. It was a straight 6, and she was something I really miss. I built her up, and my stepfather made me sell it. I didn't want to sell her, but I was under his roof. I had no choice. When I had to sell her, it was like taking a part of my heart and ripping it out of my chest, because that truck was one I saved from the ground up. She was completely gone, and I restored her, and I spent thousands of dollars, and I lost thousands of dollars because someone couldn't mind their own goddamn business. My third car was a 1980 Chevy Blazer S. I saved her. She was falling apart. Brought her back. And guess who was the one that made me sin? Stepfather. So I wasn't about that. Recently, I said no, and I got her. I saved her and I brought her back. You know where I'm at now? An RV park. But 5 years old. I am 35, and I don't need adults barking at me like they're Adolf Hitler. So, I got my 1984 Crown Victoria. She runs, she drives, and I'm happy about that. She was my last car I got recently. I got her only a few months back. My other car I owned that I refused to sell, I refused to let anyone make me sell it, was my 1962 Dodge D200. She's still in storage. I'd rather pay storage and keep my old cars that are getting rare than to just sell them like, here you go, here's my work. Oh, you want to pay less than I invested in it? Sure, that's fantastic. I've learned my mistake with the Chevy. That is never going to happen again. I can tell you that much. What was my recent Model T? Okay, I'll tell you about that one. The recent Model T was a 1923 Ford Model TT Touring. She needs a body, so I have to try and see about going up to Lowell, Kansas and getting a body from my friend at Model T Haven. She'll have to be a Touring. That's what she is. I don't want her to be anything else. I want a convertible. I have all these closed cars, and last thing I want to do is just have nothing but closed cars all the time. So, yeah. Alright, this has been a long video, but it's to explain to you about the things and questions I get answered. So if you have any more questions, let me know, and I'll get back to you ASAP.